SpeedFlex for iOS is your throughput-based wireless performance analysis tool built for the iPhone. To launch, click on the SpeedFlex icon. You'll be presented with the main screen where there's just a few options that we'll need to go in and set. If you click on the settings icon at the top right, the only thing you'll need to put in is going to be the SpeedFlex server, which could be either a standalone access point, a zone director, or a laptop running SpeedFlex. Simply click on the initial field, which is just a holder for the IP address of wherever you're going to use to run your test against. For me, it's going to be 10.0.1.4, which happens to be the zone director on my network. You'll see the client IP address is already filled in, so we don't need to put that in. The slider is selectable from 5 seconds up to 50 seconds. I'm going to set it to 5 for this test. And then you just have your options of uplink, downlink, both, and then TCP or UDP. So we're going to make sure TCP and both are set. This way it'll run an uplink test for 5 seconds, switch, and run a downlink test for 5 seconds, and record those results. So click the check mark at the top right. Now you'll see on the screen, you'll see the IP address of the SpeedFlex server at the top left and my client IP address. All I got to do now is click start and let the test run. And you'll see it's going to run an uplink test from my iPhone, which again is based on 2.4 gigahertz 11N only at the current release up to iPhone 4S. Eventually we'll have a 5 gigahertz option on these phones. So you can see 27.3 megabits per second up with no packet loss and 36.2 megabits per second on the downlink with no packet loss. Now from here I could just continue running tests. I could go to different locations. If I wanted to change quickly to just do an uplink test on UDP, I could click apply, rerun that test, and you'll see I'm going to get some results that will be based upon UDP. Again, this could be different locations, multiple tests, so about 28, 29 megabits of uplink UDP throughput. And now I've got a list of my results. So if I click the list option at the top left, it's presented descending with the most recent results. So you can see my UDP up based upon the icons and the descriptions, as well as both the uplink and downlink TCP. Now I could drill in more if I want to look at the results. I could give this a name if this happens to be a particular room or location. You can see I'm shown the details of the run, whether it was uplink or downlink, as well as GPS data. So very, very handy on the outside if you're doing an outdoor test. If you go back to the test results, you can do a couple of different things. You can click add photo, take a picture of where you are, pick a picture from the camera roll, or take one from your library. So I'm just going to say take a new picture. The camera comes up. I take a quick picture, and I can move it and scale it. So if I wanted to zoom in a little bit, click use, it's going to add that to that particular run. So now I can do a couple of different things. I can delete individual results by swiping on them to delete. I can send an email, which will generate a PDF file that then I will be able to compose and send off. Or I could simply delete all these results or just save them. If I click the icon at the top right and go back, and now I go in and run a new test, let's say TCP downlink, those results will be appended to my log, and then I could generate an ultimate email at the end there. So you can see, very handy to run some results. Now that new one is added here, I could send an email or I could delete these results.